Folks, this is your instructor, Paul, for SAP, Supply Chain Management for Leaders. Given the coronavirus, I will be trying to post some videos talking to the PowerPoints that I'd be doing in class. So here we go. Reminder to students to do the customer satisfaction survey. If any of you had any business cards that need to be picked up from the print shop, please do that. Again, we will be working on the production and planning exercise. You do not have to get that in until March 30th now because of the COVID-19 shutdown. I've given you an extension. Okay, so here we go. Also upcoming events, I don't believe the Apex event will be going on. The American Quality Association of Quality in May, hopefully that does happen. We'll see how this pandemic sorts itself out, and I hope everybody is safe and healthy. And so here, material planning is the chapter 8. The lecture I'm going to talk about on this video. Some of the learning objectives: explain the master data associated with the material master, analyze the key concepts, identify basic steps, using SAP to execute the material planning process steps, and to extract and evaluate meaningful information. So, just get my glasses here. I got some lecture notes I want to just make sure I talk to you. So, companies typically implement multi-million-dollar ERP systems like SAP because they want to optimize their inventory carrying costs. Inventory can be cost you millions of dollars, so you want to make sure that you have the right product at the right time, at the right place. Otherwise, you have a lot of lost revenue and customer dissatisfaction. Okay, so the objective of material planning is to balance demand for materials with the supply of materials so that the appropriate quantities of materials are available when they are needed. So, one of the more complex processes within an organization is material planning, because products, almost all processes use materials, and so you either make them or you order them when you need them. Okay, so you're either internally producing or creating purchase orders to externally procure them. So the basic material planning process looks like this. We've got sales and operational planning that's carried out typically strategically by sales and marketing. They're looking at what they need to have available for customer orders. Creates an operational plan, and demand management translates these plans into requirements for individual materials. Now we move to the material requirement planning phase, which uses these requirements to generate final procurement proposals for all materials. And these either trigger planned orders or production orders or purchase orders. So some organizational data: client, company, plant level, company code, storage, location. The bill of material is probably the most important. Master data, providing materials to be used in production. Product routing, basically tells you how to route the products to the right work centers. Material master is another, and product group are other important data elements. So material master setup as set up in SAP would look like this. All the different components of the MRP fulfill their own need or function. The MRP1 has a lot of information regarding the overall planning strategy and determines how much material the company should procure. MRP2 has more of the times and scheduling, time horizons and scheduling data on how to procure the materials as well. Are we making it? Are we buying it? MRP3 looks at the strategies used to calculate how much material is available. MRP4 contains systems data and bill of material calculation methods. And the work schedule component contains data that determine production times such as tear downs, setups, processing times. So key data included our procurement type. So are we going to make this in-house? Are we ordering it externally? MRP type is it consumption-based MRP or MPS? These are all production control techniques. So consumption-based calculates requirements based on historical consumption, assumes that consumption will follow a historical pattern. And there's a reorder point calculation there. When inventory falls below a certain level, it triggers a reorder in quantity. MRP calculates requirements for material based on the dependence on other materials. And then master production scheduling, or MPS, is similar to MRP but focuses on requirements for top level items of a bill of material. Lot sizes basically specify what quantity will be bought at a specific time. How big is the quantity, the order quantity, or the lot size. So static lot sizing specifies fixed quantity based on predetermined values. Period lot sizing looks at combining multiple time periods such as days or weeks into one lot count, or using optimal lot sizing techniques like economic order quantity. And then scheduling time fences is the time needed to procure the necessary materials. If the materials are produced in-house, the procurement time is the time needed to produce the material. For externally procured products, the scheduling time is the planned delivery plus the goods receipt and processing time. Planning time fences is a period of time in which the ERP system is not allowed to order anything. That's when it's kind of, anything be within the time fence, you can't order stuff, it's just too soon. BOM selection methods. Several BOMs may exist for the same product or same material, and the MRP system must have a method to determine which selection criterion to use. Availability check group defines the strategy the system uses to define whether a quantity of material will be available on a specific date. The availability check group informs the system which supply and demand elements to take into account when determining availability. You did this step 9, when you converted the planned order to a production order. And scheduling took place on availability check was automatically carried out. And as a reservation was placed on the specified material in the BOM. The strategy group specifies the high-level planning strategy used in production. So it's either going to be made to order, assembled to order, or made to stock. Consumption mode looks at customer orders and planned individual requirements when calculating how the orders will be calculated. So take a peek at this, go to MMO3 in SAP, that's material requirements screen, and put in that deluxe touring bike stock number, and you can see select MRP 1, 2, 3, 4 and work scheduling, and you can see the different elements of each of these MRP screens in SAP. Again, MRP 1 defines overall planning strategy. MRP 2 defines the times the system can use for scheduling and whether this is a buy or make product. MRP 3 calculates how much material is available and how material is produced. MRP 4 contains data the system uses to select the right bill of material. And the work schedule contains data that determines production times such as setup, teardown, and processing times. Here's an example for GBI of the different product groups and how you can set parameters up so that you can produce similar products without having to plan for all the separate products. So for reasons like that, companies use what we call similar planning characteristics into product group or family group. So you can see here how off-road is set up in touring and what the allocations, the percent allocations are when creating a plan for touring, how much will be deluxe and how much will be professional. So here's another demo review that you can give a try to. So material planning process. MRP creates specific procurement proposals to ensure sufficient materials will be available to cover each requirement. Again, the first step is the SOP, the Sales and Operational Plan. Forecasting and planning tool that businesses use to enter or generate sales forecasts and specify inventory requirements. And generate an operational plan. The SOP involves finished goods. Essentially, it can be a rough cut of an aggregate level plan. Typically done, again, like I said, with the sales and forecasting teams working in conjunction with the inventory production or forecasting and planning group. I have fulfilled these roles in the past, and I have created SNOPs that have been fed into what we called our demand planning or demand management systems at 3M, and created disaggregated plans for downstream products. It's typically done for made to stock items, not necessary obviously for made to order. The triggers, typically a schedule. You do these things on a planned quarterly or monthly schedule, or there's a disruption in business, maybe like the coronavirus right now, that basically is forcing people to look at their plans long term and make changes based on unexpected events. I know at 3M right now, they're constantly changing their plans for respirator masks that could be used for healthcare professionals. So here's the elements of an SOP triggered by a need. Obviously there's a number of sales data, transactional data, user input to create a production plan, and the outcomes are an operational plan. Here's some more examples from the GBI perspective. Then we go to the disaggregated plan. Again, the disaggregated plan creates a production plan at the product group level based on what the forecast or what the demand, the operational plan was at the SOP level. These requirements must be translated for the PIRs and individual materials in the product group hierarchy. The trigger is a new production plan, the data groups, the production plan from SOP, user input, the tasks translate plans generated in SOP steps for product group into plan for materials contained in those groups. Outcomes are planned independent requirements for each planning period. These requirements are transferred to demand management. Again, here's examples from the disaggregation example of GBI and how the allocation percentages translate into what will be produced with respect to the materials that follow or the materials that are in each of the product groups, i.e. the touring or the off-road groups and the subsequent products that are generated. So the demand management, again, looks at customer orders and creates planned independent requirements based on the production plan from the SOP and any open or current customer orders or CIRs. And here's the steps again, the triggers, changes in planned independent requirements, create revised independent requirements. Finally, we have the material, or we have step 4, the material requirements, which are looking to create planned purchase orders or planned internal production orders or purchase requisitions for externally purchased products. And the elements, again, are changes in the MRP, which can create the recalculation of net requirements and adjusted production schedules. So the changes can come about through multiple changes, additional customer orders or CIRs, changes in purchase orders, goods receipts, issued goods, planned production orders, material reservations or inventory taken out of stock because of spoilage or something like that. And these issues then are used or trigger a recalculation, and new quantities are calculated for procurement proposals. And again, this is very automated, done by the ERP system on a very automated nature. Analysts may then review the data and validate it before they may release a planned order and make it an actual production order or purchase order. Here's the MRP procedure. The file, there's a planning file which triggers a net requirements calculation, which uses lot size defaults to perform scheduling and determine new procurement proposals. Finally, we're at the end of the whole process. With respect to reporting, your key reports are your stock requirements list, your MRP list, and your planning results report. And here's example. So that's kind of it. Again, complete the production and planning case. I've given you extra week given the COVID-19 school shutdown. Then I'd like you to read Chapter 7, Inventory Warehouse Management, and review those PowerPoint slides along with any detailed speaker notes that I will add to FOL under Content and Video, and complete the FOL Chapter 7 quiz before April 6th. Lastly, with respect to the social intelligence assignment for Step 6 and 7, please complete that by April 17th and see the submission folder regarding alternative instructions if you did not attend a networking event prior to the COVID-19 shutdown. And lastly, our guest speaker, Jeff Van Giel, has agreed to do a PowerPoint presentation or a video presentation. And so I'd like you guys to think about some questions that you could ask Jeff. So do some research on Jeff Van Giel and 3M Canada and see if you can post some questions to the discussion board. I will create that very shortly. Or you can send me your questions and then I will forward those to Jeff. Thank you folks, and have a good week.